Hey guys, this is Mr. McNeese. I just want to go over our notes for today. We're going to be talking about changing tires, and then after that, we're going to be calculating final grade averages. So the first one is changing tires. Now the warm-up asks us to find the circumference of a circle. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds to figure that one out on your own, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so circumference of a circle. If we know the radius is 14 inches, remember radius is from the center to the edge. So circumference is 2 pi r. So we're going to have 2 pi times, in this case, 14. So we're going to have 2 pi times 14, or 28 pi, or just 87.97 inches, because we're using inches here. So 87.97 inches. Over here, we're given diameter this time. So remember, diameter is from one end to this other when it goes through the center. And it's just circumference equals pi times diameter. So we're going to have circumference equals 29 times pi, or just 91.11 inches, because again, we're using inches. So there we go. Now on to the actual actual notes for the day. It says you have just purchased a new Jeep Wrangler equipped with factory installed P245 70R16 tires. You think these tires are too small, so you replace them with some Mickey Thompson Mud Terrain P318 80R15 tires. How does this change in tire size affect the accuracy of the speedometer and odometer readings? By the end of this lesson, you should be able to answer the following. So it's going to ask us to find the actual miles traveled and the actual speed we're going. Now, first what I want to do is I just want to break down what's inside this tire name, okay? Because it just seems like a bunch of numbers, right? Numbers and letters. So the P means passenger tire. 245 specifies the tire's width in millimeters. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit so you can see this picture here. Tire's width in millimeters is 245. 70 represents the tire's aspect ratio, which is just a ratio between the height and the width of the tire, and it's as a percentage. So height divided by width, in this case, would be 70%. And then the last number, in this case, it's 16. It just tells us the diameter of the rim. So first part, what we want to do is we want to compare each of these items on the left column between the old tire and the new tire. And remember, aspect ratio is just height divided by width. And now at some point down this column or down this table, we're going to have to convert from millimeters to inches. So here's a unit of measure here. We've got 1 inch is equal to 25.4 millimeters. So the first thing we want to do, we want to find the width of the tires in millimeters. So that one, remember this number right here is our width. So for the left one, for the old tire, we've got 245 millimeters. For the new one, we've got 318 millimeters. Okay. Aspect ratio is that second number. So we've got 70% and 80%. Okay. And 70% is a decimal, is 0.7, 80% is 0.8. And then next we got to find the height. So the height, remember, if we go up, we've got tire height is just this part right here. So in order to find that, we know that the width of the entire tire is 245 millimeters. And we know that the aspect ratio is 0.7. So if we can use this formula right here, aspect ratio is equal to height divided by width, we should be able to find the the height of the tire. So we know that height divided by width, which in this case, for this tire, is 245, height divided by width should equal our aspect ratio, so 0.7. So if I just multiply each side by 245, I should get the height as 171.8 0.5 millimeters. And now it's asking us to find it in inches. So we're going to have to use that unit conversion, okay? So we've got to convert it to inches, we just need to divide 171.5 by 254, or excuse me, 25.4, and we should get 6.75 inches. So the height of the tire is 6.75 inches on this one. And then over here, we're going to do the same thing just with the new number. So we've got height divided by 318 and equals 0.8 this time. And so multiply each side by 318 and we should get a height of 254.4. Whoops. There we go. 254.4 millimeters. And to get it to inches, we're just going to do 254.4 divided by 25.4, which equals 10.02 inches. Okay? And then the next part we've got is diameter. So we've got the diameter of the tire. So imagine it like this. We've got the rim and then the tire around it. And they're asking us to find the diameter of the entire thing. So we've got to combine the diameter of the rim, okay, plus the height of the tire on this side and this side. So we're going to have to add the rim width, the rim diameter, and the tire height twice, okay? So we've got diameter of rim. On this model, it was 16 inches, okay? And then, so the diameter of the entire tire is equal to 16 inches for the rim plus 2, remember 2 of the tire heights. So 2 times, in this case, it's 6.75. And that should equal 29.5 inches. And then on this one, we've got diameter of the rim, in this case, is 15 inches. And then the diameter of the tire is equal to 15 plus 2 times 10.02, which would give us 35.04 inches. Okay, and then the last thing we need to do is find the circumference. So remember, circumference is equal to, you can either do 2 pi r or pi times diameter. Okay, so in this case, we know the diameter, so I'm going to use that. So circumference equals pi times diameter. And for this tire, it's going to be 29.5 times pi. So our circumference is equal to 92.68 inches. And then over here, we've got circumference, again, just equals pi times diameter. So we're going to have 35.04 times pi. So circumference is equal to 110.08 inches. Okay, so now that we've got our table done, it's going to ask us a couple of questions. It says, after one rotation of the wheel, how many inches further has the truck with larger tires traveled than the truck with the factory installed tires? So what we need to do is we need to find the difference between these distances. And so if a tire is rotating, just think, tire is rotating, that means that you're just going one circumference, right? One circumference length. So I need to find the difference between these. So if I do that, I've got 110.08 minus 92.68, and that should equal 17.04 inches because we're working in inches, further. Okay. And now the next one says, after one rotation of the wheel, the truck with the larger tires has traveled blank times farther than the truck with the factory installed tires. So we're trying to see how many times farther the new one has gone than the old one. And whenever we're trying to figure out this out, it's just an aspect ratio between the two circumferences. So what I can do is just divide. So I've got the new tire circumference divided by the old tire circumference, and I should get this ratio. So if you divide these out, you would get 1.19. And this is what's going to be called our scale factor. Okay, we usually represent our scale factor with the letter K. So K in this case is equal to 1.19. Okay, and then the next one, it says use the results from the table in question 1 to assist in completing the following statements about the truck after larger tires have been installed. So now we're going to be able to answer this. We can say we're going to find the actual mileage and the actual speed. So it says if our reading on the odometer is 20,020 miles, how far have we actually gone? So down here it says actual mileage is our K factor times the odometer reading. So we have, in this case, we've got 1.19 for our odometer reading. Here, let me fix that. 1.19 as our scale factor, and then our odometer reading is 20,020 miles, which if you simplify that, we get 238,238 miles. And then for the speed, again, we're just going to take scale factor times our speed reading. So in this case, we've got 1.19 times 60 miles an hour, and we would get 71.4 miles per hour. So in this one, we'd have 238, 238, and then this one we'd have 71.4. So you think you're going 60, but you're actually going 71.4 miles an hour. Next one, we've got what is the percent error in the odometer readings? So if we do percent error, that is equal to new minus original divided by original. It's just a ratio between the two. So I'm going to have, for the odometer, I'm going to have 238, 23.8 divided by 20020, and you're going to get 0.19 or 19%. And then the next one for the speedometer, we've got 71.4 minus 60 divided by 60, and we're going to get 0.19 or 19%. It's not always going to be the same percentage, but in this case it is. Okay. And then the next one, using the odometer readings in the truck equipped with larger tires, you determine that the gas mileage is 18 miles an hour. What is your actual gas mileage? All we're going to do is just multiply gas mileage by our scale factor. So we're going to have 1.19 times 18, and we're going to get 21.42 miles per gallon. So that is our new MPG. And then the last question, if you were driving a truck with larger tires and the speedometer showed a speed of 65, could you get ticketed for exceeding that limit by 5 or 10 miles an hour? So we've got 65 times 1.19 equals 77.35 miles per hour. So you could get a ticket for going not only 5, but 10 miles an hour over. Okay. So on the next video, we're going to talk about final grade averages.